Get Gutsy, episode number 128 with Selena Soo on impacting millions. Welcome to Get Gutsy. I'm your host, Jenny Fennig, and I am so excited to be on this journey with you. A cutting-edge show blending business and spirituality, Get Gutsy serves up a potent blend of stories, lessons, and tips to help you make a massive impact in the world through your soul's work and your inspired life. No more going it alone, no more excuses. The world needs more brave women saying yes to leadership. Are you with me? Good. Let's get gutsy now. Hey, Jenny here. Welcome to Get Gutsy. Hooray. Another episode for you today. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Before I tell you about it, we are bracing for a big storm here. I live in Massachusetts, Western Mass, an area called the Berkshires, and my husband is like doing backflips essentially because he's obsessed with snow and he's so excited that he's home because he does travel for his work and often he's home when we get snowstorms and he gets totally bummed out. But he just came back on this past Sunday after being gone for about a week, you all, and I almost lost it a few times, but I kept it together. I have 3 kids. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. Shout out to all the single parents out there, okay? I do not want to diminish the work that you do like every day when you're a single parent. I'm not a single parent. I have a husband and he does travel for work. And this stretch was a long one. And we had our challenges and it was also fantastic. And, the kids and I got to do things the way we would want to do it without dad around. And yet it was really nice when dad came home too. And so I just want to share that little slice from my life with you. Wow, parenting is a ride. And last week while he was away, it's when I was hosting a webinar. You might have been a part of it. If you missed it, you can go to jennyfennig.com/done, jennyfennig.com/done. The replay is up just a little bit longer. It's all about done is better than perfect. 6 keys to growing your spiritual online business. Anyway, so I had the webinar. I had 3 kids rocking it solo. One of my kids got a stomach bug. The other 2 were kind of down for the count that day anyway. And yet you just go and you really have to embrace that done is better than perfect energy. Want to ensure that you know that something is happening right now that's really exciting, really exciting. And it's this: I am accepting applications for my amazing mastermind, which is called GLOW. GLOW stands for Gutsy Leaders of Wisdom, and that is who it is for. It is the committed, the serious, the brave, the courageous, the passionate, you beautiful leaders out there who know that you have something fantastic to do with your lives and you have these gifts and you want to channel them and help the world through your business. GLOW is for you. It's a sacred container that guides you to your next level over the course of 6 months' time. It's coaching, consulting, accountability. I put you in what we call GLOW squads. You all have each other's backs. We have retreats. We have a few online retreats, and we have an amazing real, like IRL, in real life retreat in Tulum, Mexico for this round. It's going to be spectacular. Imagine being there, right there on the water. Our resort is literally on the water. We have a private beach. We have these beautiful rooms, amazing food, masterminding for a week. We are going to experience a temazcal, which is a Mexican sweat lodge. It's a Mayan ritual. You're going to sweat out impurities. You're going to really be who you are designed to be when you strip away, all the shoulds, all the noise, all of the expectations that other people have put on you that quite frankly don't work for you anymore. The theme for this round of GLOW is worth, truth, and letting go. And the journey starts next month in April and it goes through September. And we do fill the spots by application. My job is to curate the most powerful group around. And if this is something that's calling out to you, go to glowmastermind.com and read all about it and apply for it. You should feel scared. Like you're probably going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm doing this because I know I have to do it. glowmastermind.com. And if I feel you're a fit, we will schedule a call and we'll get on the phone and I'll really get a better understanding of what you want to build. And I'll be honest with you on if I can help you and if I'm excited to help you, because that is a requirement for me. I have to really feel strongly like I can help you and I want to, like I'm super pumped about what you're putting out into the world. I'll tell you, those who are selected for Glow are going to receive the closest access to me during a very pivotal time in my life. I'm going to be touring India in May to go deeper into my spiritual practice, and I'm going to share the greatest gifts of this journey with my Glow clients. And I'm also turning 40 that month. And so there's going to be some deep, deep stuff going on. And if you've ever worked with me closely, you know that that's the gem of my stuff is like I am going through these evolutions and these transformations and I share with you. And then it triggers something for you. You move into your next realm. So glowmastermind.com is where you can get all of the details. I am so excited to see who's coming on this journey with me. The people always blow me away. Each group becomes, more extraordinary than the last. And I think that's a testament to, me continuing to do my work, me getting stronger in my messaging, you all saying, yes, I want this. Like just the caliber of client evolves and grows and becomes stronger every single time. So I'm excited to see your application come through if this calls out to you. And I'm giving a shout out to any of you who may be affected by this storm in the United States. Dudes, just surrender and go with it. My husband's going to be going to the grocery store really soon, stocking us up, and we'll just chill, We'll have to adapt and just trust that this is winter where we are in the Northern Hemisphere, and you can't wish it away. This is the season that we're in. So whatever season you're in, just be in it, trust it, and know that this episode that we have for you today is with an amazing woman named Selena Soo. She is a publicity coach, heart of gold, generous, visionary. Love her. Met her last year at a mastermind retreat that my coach was hosting, and she just really blew me away. And then we also met because we were both finalists for Coach of the Year for the Stevie Awards for Women in Business. And it's just kind of funny that we were both in that category, and we just became pals. And I am happy to introduce this conversation with her to you. She knows so much about what she does. She's in the midst of a pretty exciting launch for her big program, which is called Impacting Millions. We are an affiliate partner for her program. I'm really proud to be partnering with her on that work. So make sure you stick around to the end of the episode because I'm going to tell you about a training that Selena has that you can attend if you want to leverage publicity to amplify your message and really better understand how to work with the media. Because when you understand what they're looking for and how you bring value to the table, that becomes a very, very potent combination. So without further ado, I introduce you to Impacting Millions with Selena Soo. Enjoy. Hey there, everybody. Jenny here. You know what time it is. It is time for Get Gutsy, and I'm so pumped to welcome you to today's show with a really, really special woman. You might have seen her online. She's really out there doing amazing work in the world. Her name is Selena Soo. Let me give her an official introduction, and then we're going to get down to business because we had a lot to talk about, and she has a lot to teach you and me, so get ready. Selena Soo is a business and publicity strategist. She's also the creator of Impacting Millions, an online program and community for experts, authors, and coaches looking to elevate their brands, reach more people, and change the world through the power of publicity. She's a 7-figure business owner. She's passionate about helping mission-driven entrepreneurs grow their revenues and their impact. Selena and I, we met during last year. We were both finalists for a Stevie Award for Women in Business for Coach of the Year, and it was really fun to just get to know the woman behind the name and the brand and the business, and she's just so generous, and she really loves connecting people. So thanks so much for being here on the show, Selena.
Thank you, Jenny. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, we're going to have a blast. So, okay, business and publicity strategist, that's who you are now. How did you get here?
Sure. So I would say it began in my mid-20s when I had a quarter-life crisis and was just, not feeling happy. And I joined this women's life coaching group. And through that, I got exposed to all of these amazing experts and authors in the personal development space. And then eventually exposed to people who were, teaching people how to find their passion, pursue a career in entrepreneurship and all of that. And my eyes were just open to this new world. And I just felt like it was the absolute most important thing to help people feel better, for people to have these experts and role models to really help them figure out, like, how do they want to feel each day? What kind of life do they want to live? What do they want to accomplish? And so I just knew that I wanted to be promoting people like that. I didn't think necessarily I'd start a business right away around that, just because I didn't see myself as an entrepreneur, but that was definitely the first step. And then as I started meeting people, I would just, reach out to people via email. I would go to events. I would, one of my biggest mentors, I saw him on the street, and instead of running in the other direction, being like, oh my God, I'm a super fan, rather just went up and introduced myself. And as I connected with these people and ended up finding different ways to add value and actually acting as their unofficial publicist, just because I was so passionate, a lot of these people got to know me and endorsed my work when I started my business. So like when I had my website up on day one, I had testimonials from Marie Forleo, Danielle LaPorte. My mentor, Ramit Sethi, was telling people about me. I had testimonials from people in the media at top magazines because I'd referred like such good people to them.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got started. And I just, I absolutely love what I do.
Yes, where the passion for your work just comes across in everything that you do. What were you doing prior to you stepping into entrepreneurship?
Right. So immediately before, I was in business school, because that was my way of taking a 2-year break to figure out my life. And I think it was a good idea, because I just needed to get out of the job I was at before. I was working at a nonprofit, and there were many things that were amazing about it. But I kind of did see myself as an under earner, someone who just works really hard, but it's never enough. I can't really ever make that much money. It was sort of part of my identity. And then when I was in business school, I had so much free time because I wasn't recruiting for consulting or finance jobs. And I worked with this female entrepreneur who had built a multi-million-dollar media company, and was sort of her right-hand person in taking the company off the ground. And being able to work with someone at her level, and also see that I had a role to play, and I was able to add a lot of value with the certain skills I had, that boosted my confidence. And so that was kind of how I transitioned out of, nonprofit into the world of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Love that. Such a great story. And I like what you said about business school kind of being this like 2-year, like, let me chill. And I've talked to other people on the show who've gone into business school, and they've said the same thing, that for the majority in business school, it's like the primer before you go on to be a consultant or to work in the financial space. And so if that's not what you want to do, then did you feel like you were the odd man out, or did you feel like business school was like the best place for you? I'm just curious about that.
Good question. Yeah, I really felt like there was no one like me. There were 400 people in my business school class, and most people were going for finance and consulting jobs, some for, these big consumer packaged goods companies. And I mean, at one point when I was in business school, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do going into it, I thought like, well, I really like to help people. Maybe I should work in HR, maybe plan like, events, or be involved with the women's initiative, and kind of having this dream, like maybe I could work for someone like Tony Robbins one day, but not even knowing like how would I even get a job there in the first place. But as I met this entrepreneur, I realized, I just really like working at small startups, and just being super hands-on, like the kind of startups that maybe my students may have been, classmates would have been considering, would be like joining a bigger startup company with funding. But yeah, there was no one really doing anything like me. And it was so interesting because when you're, in class with 400 people and you're working on all these different class projects, you can kind of see like, well, what you're good at and what you're bad at. And there were honestly like so many things that were so difficult for me. In the past, I was used to, being at the top of my class in college and high school, but not because I was the smartest. I just studied really, really hard. But in business school, it was just so hard. And I was I was like, oh my God, I guess I can't do this. Even the marketing courses were hard, but it was a different kind of marketing. It was like
Right.
marketing at like for a multi-billion-dollar company. And it was very, I don't know, analytical, but not in
Yes.
a consumer-based way. Like, how am I going to connect with my audience? It was just all these numbers that didn't make sense to me.
Right.
I felt like I really shined in my leadership classes and entrepreneurship classes. And whenever we had projects, I was a person to get things off the ground the quickest and figure out, I could connect the dots between people and opportunities and ideas and resources. And just, I had that kind of entrepreneurial bug in me. So it's kind of good to know, like, wow, there's so many things I'm not good at. Let me not even try to do them.
Yeah. And that's a good thing to know, right? In our business that, yeah, you can't take everything on. We sometimes try to do that at the beginning because we maybe don't have the resources or the experience to know, like, okay, we can hire out for this, outsource. But yeah, especially in the business realm, it's funny you say that because I minored in business in college, and I remember the classes I had to take, they all like sucked,
Right.
I majored in public relations, and even when I would hang out in the College of Journalism and Communications, I went to the University of Florida, it was just like felt better over there. Like people were cheerful, you're walking around, it's like very creative, and we're dressed like casually. And then you go over to the business school and people are in suits, and it just felt like very conservative and dry. And the classes that I took, they were probably my least favorite classes. I had to take 5 to get that major. My hardest ever class was a tie between financial accounting and business finance. I thought I was dying in both of those classes. I'm like, I understand like little to nothing in these classes. And it's humbling when you are used to being one of the smartest ones in the class, and then you really just feel like it's gibberish. Like what they're saying is total gibberish, but yet, there's a reason why you're there, and there's some good that's going to come out of that. And for you, it just led you into this path of entrepreneurship and what you're doing now. So how did you fall in love with publicity and, working with the media to really magnify a message?
Yeah, so I think I fell into it very organically. I just started being a publicist informally. When I meet someone amazing or there's something I really believe in, like I just want everyone to know about it. So I'll talk about it. I will, try to, create buzz around it. It was just me breathing, was like me connecting people and talking things up. So that, it was just very natural for me.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And so talk about the creation, like, okay, so you started your business, you just got into this. Was your program Impacting Millions, was that born immediately? What was the genesis and evolution of your program Impacting Millions?
Sure. So I first started off as a publicist when I started my business, and it wasn't the right fit for me for a number of reasons. I mean, now I do have a small handful of clients I work with, but when I first got started, I was definitely in a position where I didn't know how to set boundaries for my business and even really know how to run a business properly. And so I was getting pressure to, I guess, use my media contacts in a way that didn't feel good for me. And for me, like, I only like to bring people together in a way where it's a win-win, where the media is going to be really excited to hear about this person and it's a strong possibility, versus like I'm being pressured to send emails every day and pick up the phone and be aggressive. I mean, it's just like not my personality. And there were just like a number of things that made me feel like, I'm not feeling very good about this. And so the good thing was, like, from the get-go, I had a great reputation because of all of my influencer endorsements and media endorsements, but I was turning clients away because I just did not feel good. I didn't want to like have more of that. And then I found a business coach who exposed me to the world of coaching, and I went from, being a publicist to being a publicity coach. And as my business grew really quickly, I offered business coaching as well. And then I created a publicity mastermind, and then eventually online group programs, and now Impacting Millions.
Yeah. Okay. I like knowing people's path. Like, how did you get there? And for many of us, we do start one-on-one. I know a lot of our listeners are in that place. They're coaches, they're healers, they're creatives. They're bringing their gifts out there, usually working, privately with a handful or larger of clients. And then we get to that point where
we might say, hey, I'm burning out on this work, or I feel like I'm saying the same thing to like 10 or 20 different people, but not at the same time. That was me. I remember I'm like, I've already had this conversation, but wait, I didn't have it with you. I had it with somebody else. And that felt like wasteful,
Right,
like,
right.
I think this could be organized more efficiently and effectively for everybody. And so we want to go through this evolution. And so you moved into coaching and then really birthing your program. So what is your program? Because we're now in the month of March as this is going to go live, and this is like your baby. This is the big splash, and we're happy to be supporting the launch of Impacting Millions as an affiliate partner, and really just helping you extend this message out to all the people who are meant to receive it. So just walk us through, like, why would somebody benefit from Impacting Millions, and who is it really for?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I think there are so many people out there that are so good at what they do, and they're meant to help lots more people, but they feel like no one really knows about, like, me. Maybe my clients know about me. Maybe I've got a small community, but really there are thousands more people, even millions of people that I want to reach and touch with my message. And I think that the people that are drawn to me are a little bit different than the people who maybe, traditionally, or even like, I think I'm different from the traditional sort of publicity coach out there. The people that I attract are very mission driven, and it's not just about like, oh, look at me, I want to be so famous. It's more about, I've got something really important to share, and there may be other people who do the same thing, but I know that I've got this unique way of helping people that no one else can. And it's like almost a spiritual responsibility to get their message out into the world, to help more people, and step up as a leader. And so those are the kinds of people that I attract. So through the program, I work with a lot of coaches and consultants and service providers and authors and thought leaders who want to basically, up their game and reach lots more people through the power of publicity. And I think that my background as a business coach really is very valuable in this, because I'm a very kind of strategic thinker, and I just have so much, understanding of how demanding things can be as an entrepreneur. And if you're going to spend time on publicity, I want to make sure that people are getting the return. Mm-hmm. So, if let's say you're a coach and you're selling a $5,000 coaching package or a $10,000 coaching package, that's really different from selling a $19 book. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to want a different type of publicity for that. Mm-hmm. And there's just different ways to leverage it to actually get the clients or use it during your launch or to sell more books or get that book deal and so forth. So I kind of bring that to it. And over the course of the 90-day live training, we go over how to get incredible guest post opportunities and have those guest posts go viral, get amazing podcast interviews, magazine features and quotes, and also to be on TV. So it's a course for somebody who really feels like they're here to play big in the world, mm-hmm. and also that they recognize the power of publicity. I mean, you get one media mention, you can use that media mention for life. I mean, that logo can go on your website, your sales page. It can go in your bio when you're introduced on stage. You can mention, oh, so-and-so has been featured in X, Y, and Z. It opens the doors to other publicity opportunities. So the return on investment is so huge, especially when you're very focused and targeted on the right publicity, which is what we cover in the course. Mm-hmm. So that's what Impacting Millions is all about.
Yes. How much fun do you have leading it and seeing the discoveries that your people have and the wins and how they're able to, rise above fear and doubt?
Yeah, no, it's so great. I mean, I feel like, deciding that you're going to get your work out there through publicity is kind of like a next level move in your business. So many people will say to me, I don't know if I'm ready for publicity yet. I feel like my website's not that great. Maybe I should be further along. Mm-hmm. There's this really famous coach who's already talking about this topic. Why would anyone want to hear from me? Mm-hmm. And it's so important to overcome that, not just for publicity, but for business and in life, if you want to achieve your full potential. So it's really rewarding when people join the program. I'm able to work with them, so closely and support them in getting these amazing opportunities. And I mean, it feels so rewarding for someone to share their story on a podcast and then to have people email them and be like, oh my God, I heard you on this podcast. I just knew I had to work with you or I connect with you so much. Also, one thing that is interesting, I've been having this conversation with a lot of people is that, when somebody joins your email list through, let's say, a guest post, they've read all the way until the end and then decide to sign up, or they've listened to, say, a 45-minute podcast interview, these are much warmer leads that are more likely to buy, more likely to open your emails and refer you to others. And I mean, as an entrepreneur, we need a multi-pronged marketing approach. So, it's fine to do multiple things, but I think if you rely on paid advertising alone and just kind of quick hits and things like that, that's not really going to create that really strong raving fan base. And even with your existing fan base, even if they're already on your list, like you need to be constantly showing them, I'm out there doing things, stepping up as a leader, sharing my message. More people are going to want to work with you because of that, be inspired by you. And the content that you create through publicity and your interviews and guest posts, like this is content marketing to nurture the relationship with your existing audience. So there's just so many purposes for it.
Yeah. Such a good point. Like media just has several benefits, when we are featured on the media. Like obviously for a lot of us, we're like, great, we have a logo that we can feature on our website or, something we can add to our bio. But that piece of content is what connects us to our audience. I love what you said about not solely relying on, let's say, Facebook ads to grow your list or connect with your people, because I've seen it and experienced it myself. It's really easy to click on something that's free and then to not do anything with it. And then it's a whole nother thing when you can hear somebody's voice, you can read their story, you read their words, and you really are like, wow, if they can do it, so can I. I just actually received a note from, excuse me, I had to do a little cough there. I received a note from somebody in, taking a sip of water. I think Spirit was talking to me. It was like, tell that story about that girl. But literally, she wrote me a note and said, I read your story on your website, like my about page, which honestly is due for a refresh, but it's still good. It's like still a really well-written story and very vulnerable and transparent. And it was just me like leveraging my website as my medium. But she just said, your story resonates with me so much. And, for me, my coach that like got me into this world and really took me under her wing was Allie Brown. Several years back in 2009 was when I really started officially learning from her. And this woman said, and your story around Allie Brown was like, you're my Allie Brown. Like it was, I'm her, like I'm at that moment. I'm like, okay, here we go. So you just never know who's out there. And, it's sometimes people are with you for a while and they're like, really, you can tell they're engaged with your work. And then these other ones, they just, all of a sudden they come out of left field and you're like, okay, like, let's do this thing. And so we always want to be refreshing what we're doing, connecting with new people, trusting that there's, podcasts for us to be a part of, like the guest blogs and things like that. What do you see in like 2017, which is, you're great with watching trends and how people are consuming. Do you feel like there's a certain medium now that is like hot? Like if somebody is earlier on as that coach, as that author, as that expert, and they really want to, grow their visibility this year and leverage the places that are hotter than others that might be more, dying off or not as appropriate or valuable as they were in the past. Like what do you see going on this year?
Absolutely. I mean, I think every kind of media has its value, but I think what's really hot right now, especially for coaches, is online media, guest posts and podcasts. So with a print publication, they sometimes work 4 to 6 months in advance, or not even sometimes, they always work 4 to 6 months in advance. And so it can take a really long time to get a story. If you even get a story, it might be like a little quote or something. Whereas with online, there's so many opportunities. Some of these sites, like whether it's a marieclaire.com or glamour.com or a Mind Body Green, I mean, they're publishing dozens of articles per day. So there's just so much opportunity. And then also with podcasts too. I think the other thing that is really hot right now is actually being on the podcasts of other influencers and experts. It's not just about the maybe the sites that have a famous brand name, like they've been around for decades, like Vogue. Not saying that wouldn't be amazing to be featured in Vogue in some way, but when there is somebody who is an expert and who has an audience of people who are passionate about your topic, whether it's personal development or health, they've got a list, an audience full of buyers who have bought their products and books and things like that. Like, that's where you're going to get your biggest return. So that is extremely powerful. And I find that a lot of people are focused on opportunities like that right now.
Yeah, agreed. We want to know who has assembled an audience, like curated an audience that is, similar to ours, and be able to provide value to that audience. It's really a win-win for everybody. And I was learning from, Gabby Bernstein, who I went through her Spirit Junkie Masterclass levels 1 and 2 a few years back, and she was saying how, she did a lot of TV at one point, was on doing segments on the Today Show, which, back in my PR days, because I started my career in public relations, like getting a spot on the Today Show was like gold, like that was the ultimate. But what she was sharing with, with her work, and she's definitely like that coach, that motivational speaker, that author, that was kind of less, quote, valuable in terms of it translating into students or customers or sales, than, doing some other kinds of things, like being on, a podcast from somebody who's in this space, really connecting on Facebook in a really smart and strategic way. So sometimes we want to, not let the ego-driven benchmarks drive us. Like, maybe it's just like you get on at one time and then you're set. Like for me, I did some guest posting. I was invited because I have a contact who works for today.com, Today's Show is like online platform, and it was really great. I started doing some blogging there because I did a parenting team. It was like the Today Show parenting team. And I did that for a bit, and then I realized, what? I'm complete. Like I'm good here. And once you do it, it's like you always have that credibility. You have that logo that you can use, and you really have to assess, is this the best use of my time right now for who I'm looking to attract and what I'm doing in my business?
Right. I think it also depends on what your goals are, and there's different sort of phases in business. So for someone like Gabby, maybe for her, I don't know, whether it was a book launch or something else, there might have been other more targeted ways to get buyers. At the same time, for her to be on places like the Today Show, I think she's been on the Queen Latifah show and so many different places. I mean, like dozens of media outlets. I mean, that is one of the reasons why, she was on Super Soul Sunday, that she's chosen to be one of Oprah's Super Soul 100. I think that, when people are vetting people and they see like they've only been on niche media and they've never been on any kind of mainstream media, and they're trying to get a mainstream media opportunity like Oprah, or for Oprah to say like, this is a person that the mainstream world needs to know, then it's a challenge if you haven't done that yet or haven't, prioritized that. So I think for someone like Gabby, or for other people who are like, okay, at this stage of my life right now, like I'm looking to get a big book deal. I want to be invited to speak at these super major conferences outside of my niche. Like I want to, get those opportunities. Then I think it's important. And I also think it's really important to develop that versatility. I mean, sometimes, people will think, well, that they would know how to talk to the media because they're talking to their audience, and in the way their email list is like a media channel. But I find that even people who are like business coaches have trouble sometimes translating their work to an entrepreneur.com and a Forbes.com and so forth. So it's good to have that versatility. But I think, first things first, like what are your goals? If your goals are getting clients and filling your group programs and really hitting a very niche, audience that are buyers, then definitely the online publicity is where to focus. And then after you have landed that, and that's kind of your prep work before you move on to the harder opportunities, like the bigger mainstream ones, then you'll be just so ready for it.
Yeah, like that. That's a good map. So for those of y'all who want those clients and to fill your programs, online publicity is where it's at. Master that, and then you can move more into the mainstream space that gives you that elevated credibility, and will open some doors for you that the online publicity alone won't do. Cool. All right, so let's talk about business challenges. Okay. You strike me as a very confident woman. Just like you're just, okay, we can do this. And yeah, you had those challenges in business school. You're like, this is so hard. But how have you
Mm-hmm.
handled the hard stuff that happens as an entrepreneur? What do you do when you face disappointments or things not going your way, or a team member leaving, or oh my gosh, I've got to deal with this thing and I didn't know I'd have to deal with? Like, what is your way for navigating through that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think there's so many. I'm just like, as you're saying this question, I'm just thinking about how there are so many challenges as an entrepreneur, especially for someone who is looking to grow our business quickly and impact more people, because at every level of business, there's like a whole new set of challenges. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're not just kind of playing one role like at a regular corporate job. Like, I just do marketing, I just do this. It's like, you've kind of got to learn how to do multiple things and be the face for your brand and spokesperson. And just there's so much that's involved. So, I mean, I think that the biggest challenge or the hardest thing in my business would probably be at the very beginning when I was first getting started. So I used to be so terrified of public speaking. And even in business school, when I would be in like a little circle of like 5 people having to go around and introduce ourselves, I was like in my head the whole time, like, what am I going to say? I'm so nervous to like talk. And then, funny enough, like when I started my business pretty early on, I just felt really motivated to create some kind of workshop at my home. It was called Elevate Your Brand. It was for like 7 or 8 people. And I started marketing it, and I just shared it on Facebook, and I had a newsletter list of maybe like 150 people, and I managed to fill it. But then it was like, oh my God, now I need to deliver. And like, have trouble even talking like for 45 seconds with all eyes on me. I'm like, wait, what did I just sign up for? They're going to be there with me for 2 days.
2-day workshop. Good. At your home. That's really great.
And so I don't know. I think that it's kind of funny because I think there's a part of me that, I definitely feel afraid to do things I haven't done before, but there's like a really gutsy part of me that just like kind of knows to like go for it. So that was scary. I remember feeling like throwing up and just so nauseous and scared, and had to invite a friend over because I just felt like so physically paralyzed. That was one of the most paralyzing, scary moments in my life. And then, creating the curriculum. Oh, and then I remember also selling the workshop, not the first time, but the second time when I doubled the price. I think I had only signed up like maybe 3 or 4 people. And the program was called Elevate Your Brand. And part of elevating your brand is about being seen as an expert and getting clients. So I was like, oh my God, how can I offer this program if I can't even fill it? And I was so embarrassed. And, I was talking to my business coach at the time, a new coach, and I thought I was doing everything. And she was like, Selena, tell me what you're doing. And I told her, and she was like, you haven't even scratched the surface. And she's like, when is this event? And I'm like, it's next week. And she's like, you have so much time. You have like, so many hours to get this done. And she was like, I need you to mail your list. And at that point I was like, no, I never mailed my list about anything salesy. And she was like, I need you to get on the phone, and you're not going to stop selling until that first person walks through the door next Saturday. Oh my God. And it's so funny because now that I have different students and clients and different programs, sometimes people, who I support maybe like in a business capacity, they might be like, I feel like I'm doing everything. Why is it not working out? And I'm like, what are you doing? And they tell me, and I'm like, okay, no, that's not enough, So many times we cannot see what's going on. So it's helpful to have a coach be like, this is what you could be doing. This is what you should be doing. But yeah, just I think the ways that I've pushed myself, have been the biggest challenges and gutsiest moves, especially early on.
Great example. And, what came through for me with the tip that your coach gave you is just, you are selling that thing until the first person walks through your door next week. It reminds me of a quote I read about Tom Brady, the quarterback of the New England Patriots. They had this like huge comeback win with the Super Bowl, and he was mentoring one of the younger players on the team, and he said to the player something to the tune of you play to the last whistle. You play to the last whistle. And that was so good for me because, I experienced it too. You put something out there, like we all want it to be full, like immediately, like it should be sold out within 1 second because I put so much work into this. Like, don't they see this? This is the hugest value in the whole wide world. Like, I don't understand. And so we get triggered and maybe we get, like frustrated, or we have shame, or we're scared, or whatever. And I mean, I definitely go through my moments where it's just like, that's it. I'm out of here. Like, I'm going to go do something that's easier. And then I just remember that, like, play to the last whistle. Like, and I honestly feel like that is a spiritual practice. That's the reason we're doing all of this. Just that.
Yeah, it's like that saying, I didn't come this far to just come this far.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And I think for all of us who are really serious about helping lots of people, like we really want to push ourselves to the edge of our potential, like what is really possible. It's exciting to kind of venture into the unknown, exciting and scary.
Absolutely. So your gutsiest move then is you just go, like, just pushing it and not giving up, as your coach said. It's just continuing to go to that final whistle.
Well, I would say the main thing is around visibility, which is interesting because I'm, someone who helps people with publicity and visibility now, but being someone who was uncomfortable and so self-conscious to even talk to a small group of people for like a minute, to then being like, you know what, I'm going to host a 2-day workshop in my home and sell it for a lot of money. And then, and now since the 2-day workshop, I've done webinars, I've spoken on big stages and all of that. I've never been the kind of person who is like running to grab the microphone. Like I'm very happy, like behind the scenes. I always want to impact people and help people, but I've never been a kind of all eyes on me person. I'm more about my message. I'm more about helping people. And I think that a lot of the people who are attracted to me are like that too. And even if they are very extroverted or comfortable being on stage, they're really driven by their mission. But, and I think that if I didn't have that, why would I, torture myself and make myself uncomfortable? But I just care so much about helping people. And I feel like I have so much to share, and so do the amazing people that I get to work with. And so, that's the reason why we put ourselves out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know a lot of our listeners are going to want to check out Impacting Millions. And so after we wrap this segment of the episode, I'm going to come on with an additional message and tell people how they can go and check out what you've got going on. We're going to have some special bonuses attached to those who move forward into the program, using our special link. Just tell everybody who's listening, when does the program kick off? I know you said it was a 90-day program. When's the last day they can get in, and when does it begin?
Sure. So the cart opens on March 20th on our webinar. We're doing 3 webinars between that Monday and Tuesday. If they sign up on the webinar, they're going to get some special bonuses. So if it's something that's intriguing to you, I encourage you to be on one of the 3 webinars. And then we have early bird bonuses, some really great things that disappear on Friday, March 24th. And then the very, very absolute last day to join is March 30th. And then we kick off the next week, the next Tuesday, April 4th.
Nice. 4-4. Good one.
Yes.
Yep. No, it's powerful. I love looking at the numbers. I'm like, yeah, that's really rad. So everybody, we're going to have a special link to join those awesome webinars. So make sure you get on those. Like, even if you're like, this is intriguing, but I don't know, just go and learn, because Selena obviously is a great teacher. She's very passionate about the work. And you can also see the way that she's designed the experience, which, especially when you have the desire to teach group programs to eventually evolve out of the one-on-one model, it's really important to watch how those who are, further along, how they've designed it. That's how I did all my group programs. Like, I just learned from those who had been doing it a bit longer, who just, had some programs out there that I really respected. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I really just made kind of a research project out of it all. And that gave me the courage. Like some of the programs I joined obviously for the content and the experience, but I also just wanted to see, how does this work? How does this work? And so then when it came time for me to put my, program out there, or mastermind or whatever, I had so much more experience in context, and I was able to serve my clients on a much deeper level.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel so proud about the program and the results people are getting. When I launched it for the first time last year, even though I was very confident in what I had to teach people, I was curious to see the results that people would get, because I knew that when I work with people in a mastermind, I knew what results people were getting, but I wanted to see, like, is it going to translate in this format? And it's like blowing my mind. I'm like, some people could just join. They don't even need to join my mastermind. They can just join Impacting Millions and get such great results. We had 2 people that were featured in Oprah magazine just recently in December. When John Lee Dumas, who hosts Entrepreneur on Fire, had a call for, new guests, there were 300 applicants. He selected 30, and about half of them were from Impacting Millions. Everybody was posting, "Oh my gosh, I got in." And I was just like so proud of, my students. And so the people in the group are real go-getters. They're the ones who are getting the opportunities because they've been trained and supported. We have people at all levels in business. We've got people who are just getting started and super ambitious, know that, I'm meant for big things. We have, 6-figure, multi-6-figure, 7-figure business owners. But it's an incredible community, and I'm very, very active. And I think that, I've spent a lot of time thinking about how can I create this engaging, lively community, because sometimes, people aren't always like that with their groups. They're just like, oh, let's leave it to them. But, being able to be that leader in the group and then also have other people step up as leaders and to share and support each other. It's just very magical the way it's all come together. So, I think the community and the support you get beyond just the pure training is really invaluable.
Yeah, well done. And we're really happy to be supporting the launch. And I want our listeners to realize that too. It's, we can go only so far alone. It's when we join together and we help each other out and we believe in what somebody is putting out, and we believe it's a complement to what we're doing, that's when we really can expand. And so when Selena and I, first connected, and originally I knew of you, and then we were both, selected as finalists. I'm like, wait, we're like, in the same category, we're quote competitors for this award. And yet I just was struck by, how down to earth and, loving, and you just want to help people. And like, that just what has come across in this conversation between you and I know that your next class of Impacting Millions is really going to go on to impact millions. And I'm excited that our Get Gutsy community is going to be invited in to see what you've got going on, and then to, make that next step for those who are really ready to rise up and leverage that media to expand their message. That's what it's about. It's that magnification of the work. We can't just like put it on our blog or, post on Facebook and think that is going to do it. Like, when we're really committed to touching as many lives as we can. And it can feel a bit scary sometimes. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be featured on this or that. I remember when I was prepping for my Entrepreneur on Fire interview, like I had done a lot of media in my life, and I pitched a lot of media, and I'd worked with like big media outlets in my PR days. And yet for that one, I was like sweating bullets, because he has a lot of people on there, and the vetting process is pretty intense. And then when you find your moment, and that one in particular, like I was all ready. I was like ready to rock, and I got like the special microphone that he suggested and everything. And we log on to the interview, and he goes, "It sounds like you're in a like an airplane hangar. Like I hear all this like background noise." And I go, "Well, no, I have the special microphone that you said." And he goes, "Wait, let's do your settings." And so I just didn't have the settings correct. And he walked me through that. He goes, "That's a good thing that we got that sorted. I was about to cancel you." I go, "No."
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we worked it out. So it's one of those, you had to be ready too. For all you gorgeous listeners out there, be ready. Like, some things happen like that. Like, your tech is kind of wonky. And so when you can just keep your cool, breathe, stay grounded, know that you're bringing a lot to the table. And you very much believe in that, Selena. The expert, the author, the coach, it's a symbiotic relationship, like a co-creative effort between the media outlet and the expert.
Yeah, I just have some things to add to that, because that was amazing. And I can totally understand maybe people feeling self-conscious, like, am I good enough, and all of that. I remember my first interview that I did. It was like a Skype video interview. I was so nervous. I had no experience. And I listened to it later, and I literally had used 100 filler words, like, my eyes were darting. I wasn't even able to like look at the host in the eye. But I had my interns listen to it and they're like, it's really good. Like the message is really great. And even though it wasn't perfect, like I just sent it out and that was that. And even, when I got this big interview with my mentor, Ramit Sethi, who's got an email list of 600,000 people. And that was more recently. I was watching that interview and I remember thinking, oh, I should be smiling more. And I was just so self-critical, but I was like, you know what? It's good enough. I'm just going to send it. And so a lot of times we think like we have to be perfect, but it's like a lot of times I do things and I know I'm not perfect and I'm still going to say yes and I'm still going to send it. Like part of how you get better is just by doing it. So don't wait until you're perfect. You should actually like just start now.
Absolutely.
Prepare, of course, and do the best you can, but the best you can is more than good enough.
Yes, absolutely. And for our people that we're serving, we tend to be a few steps ahead. And so they're watching it. And I think what people really appreciate is real. We're real. We're genuine. We're not just, packaged and airbrushed and photoshopped. Like we're real people. Sometimes we have a filler. Like I had to cough earlier in the interview. I'm not going to edit that out because that's real. Like I really had to cough. Like I'm a human and those things happen. And I know that, other people would have different points of view. I know people who have podcasts and they literally hire somebody to edit out every and ah and breath. And I've chosen not to do that because I feel like my audience appreciates the realness. And I want my people to know, and the majority of our people are women. A lot of them are moms. And you know what? We don't have to wait until we have a gazillion hours of free time and so we lost 20 pounds and our hair is better and all these things. Just start today and you'll evolve as you go and you'll improve as you go. And that is to be celebrated and you need to make some space for that.
Absolutely.
Selena, you're amazing. I'm so happy to have you here. What you hang out a lot on Facebook, right? People can connect with you there and watch what you're doing on that platform. Are you on Instagram too?
No, I'm not on Instagram.
No, IG. So is that like a conscious choice? You just said, I don't want to hang there?
It kind of is conscious. I mean, someone got me to create an account, but I haven't posted anything. I am such a less is more 80-20 person. So I think Instagram can be great if it's a platform you choose to really embrace. I just focus on a couple of specific things, my newsletter and publicity. And, I'm pretty much good with that. And I think it's also, I kind of think it's inspirational because people sometimes feel like they have to be everywhere and do everything. There are certain things, that I think that you can just focus on those things and kind of ignore the rest if you choose to do so. So I managed to build a 7-figure business and a really active audience, even though I chose not to do a million other things. Everyone's like, you do. So it's somewhat of a conscious choice not to be on Instagram.
I like it. I chose not to be on Twitter. Like I do have a profile there, but I don't care about Twitter. I mean, no offense to Twitter. It's just not my thing. So it is important. And it's like the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown, which I've read in the last few weeks. And it really is such a game-changing, just a way to get back to this place of less is more, and you don't need to dilute your efforts and your energy to try to be where you think everybody else is. Just be where your people are and really hone that. So everybody, you're going to check out what Selena has in store. I'm going to have a special message for you to tell you where you can go to get onto these webinars and impact millions. Thanks again, Selena, for being here. Love everything that you're doing and very happy to support your work.
Thank you so much, Jenny.
This is Jenny Fennick sending you so much love, light, and faith as you get gutsy.
Hey, this is John Lee Dumas of EO Fire, and you're listening to Get Gutsy with Jenny Fennick. Gutsy leaders unite and ignite.
Hey there, Jenny here. Wasn't that conversation with Selena Soo amazing? Thanks for listening in, and thanks for being a part of Get Gutsy. Couldn't have this show without you. Listen, I promised you I would give you some info on how you can learn from Selena. Straight up, she is going to be leading a really, really powerful webinar called From Best Kept Secret to Industry Leader. 3 publicity secrets to multiply your revenue, reach more people, and change the world. And we both want you to be there. You can go to jennyfennig.com/Selena to sign up. That's jennyfennig.com/Selena, Selena. Here's what's going down on the webinar. If you've ever felt like you're the best kept secret in your industry, this is for you. You started a business because you wanted to help people. Even though you're transforming a small number of people's lives, you know you're meant to make an even bigger impact in the world. There is a problem though. Thousands or perhaps millions of people who could benefit from your work don't even know you exist. So, on this training that Selena is leading very, very soon, you're going to learn how she used online publicity to create a $330,000 launch and how you can leverage publicity to get more high quality leads and clients. You're going to learn how to get the media's attention, even if it feels like thousands of people are competing for the same opportunities. You're going to learn the story of an online star who got featured on multiple podcasts in her first month of business and has since grown a movement of 24,000 raving fans. And finally, you're going to learn how one health coach went from anonymous to sought after expert, getting 2-page spreads in magazines, invitations to speak at top corporations, and a spot on Fox News with one of Oprah's health experts. You definitely don't want to miss this. Selena is so thorough. She's so passionate about what she does, and I know that she's excited to help you. So make sure you reserve your spot at jennyfennig.com/Selena, and then keep your eyes and ears open because I'll be telling you very soon how you can score some pretty great bonuses if you decide that you want to learn from Selena deeper in her amazing program called Impacting Millions. You heard us talk about it on the podcast, and your first step really is to show up for that webinar. Sign up for it. She's got a few times for you to choose from, and show up, learn, and then take action. That's really how I've built my business through the years. I show up, I learn, and I take inspired, aligned action even when I'm scared. Again, jennyfennig.com/Selena. Enjoy it, y'all.